What's shakin' bacons? Today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I personally think is really cool. As I've mentioned many times before, I am a huge science fiction fan. I love science fiction. It's my favorite genre. This was the genre I specialized in for my bachelor's degree. My emphasis was in science fiction literature, and my full degree was English literature. So I thought that this news was very, very interesting, and I just got excited and I wanted to talk about it. Apparently, in 2017, there was a large object sighted passing through our solar system. It was discovered in October by the Pan-STARRS 1 telescope in Hawaii, and it was named Oumuamua. I probably just butchered that. Oumuamua means a messenger that reaches out from the distant past. And what's interesting about this object is A, that it was very large and it was traveling at very high speeds through our system. And apparently it is the first and only interstellar visitor that has actually skipped through our system. What's intriguing about this object is that it was far longer than it was wide. Researchers at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics actually speculated in a more exotic scenario that based on the strange characteristics of this object that passed through our system, and based on the fact that it doesn't have telltale signatures or features of a comet or an asteroid, based on the shape and based on its structure and the fact that it's got strange origins, they think that it might actually be of artificial origin. And this theory is primarily based on its excess speed, and it actually boosted acceleration as it moved through the system. These are people that are the professor and chair of astronomy at Harvard. These are the people writing this paper, and they're not likely to suggest something that's really completely out there. What they have hypothesized is that this thing might have been a probe that was sent to our system to either take stock of it or to study us. It had a weird trajectory. The theory was that maybe it wasn't operational any longer, possibly. CNN actually covered this recently. The theory would account for various anomalies of Oumuamua, such as the unusual geometry inferred from the light curve, low thermal emissions, and a deviation from a Keplerian orbit without any sign of a cometary tail or spin-up torques, which are generally what is indicative of an asteroid or of a comet. It did not behave like a normal solar system object, and they particularly note that this is the first object ever seen in our system that is known to have originated elsewhere. Now, does this mean that this is exactly what this thing was, that it came from a different civilization, or that it was a probe, or it was of alien origin? It doesn't mean that. People have said, you know, part of the problem is that we didn't catch any signals or communication coming from this, and it was spinning. So if it was actually a light sail, because it does have a structure that could correspond to a light sail, if it was a light sail, why is it spinning the way it does? The argument against that, of course, if you want to play devil's advocate, is that humanity is not an advanced civilization on the scale of civilization that has been applied and generally accepted by the scientific community. I don't know how much you guys know about this, but there are type 1, type 2, and type 3 civilizations. If you want to hear me talk about that more, because I think this stuff is really interesting, just let me know. So humanity is not even fully at a type 1 civilization level. I think as of today, we're at like 0.7 of almost being a full type 1 civilization, if that tells you anything. One thing that's been particularly noted in the differences between the types of civilizations that have been hypothesized to exist in the entire universe is that you communicate differently. And the way we communicate is thought, even by our scientists today, to be incredibly primitive. So if there was a form of communication that was coming from this object, or let's say it had been abandoned or turned off, sort of like how we sent our probes out into the galaxy, they're gone out of our solar system, but we have lost control over them. If this is the same situation, we wouldn't be able to hear any signals coming from it because they may be communicating with quantum entanglement, they may be communicating using some kind of different method that we are not familiar with. B, if it was no longer operational, it wouldn't be communicating with anybody regardless. And that would also account for the fact that it was spinning instead of kind of positioning itself as a light sail to take advantage of extra energy. And this, of course, has a lot of implications. Is this from a real civilization? My instinct is probably not. However, the idea of it intrigues me, and I've mentioned before that based on the Fermi paradox, I personally am terrified of contact from another species in our universe. It's horrifying to me. I should probably do a video talking about that just to explain why I find that horrifying. And I think it's so interesting, just the implications it has for us as people. But I thought this was just such an interesting thing to think about, that we actually have very accomplished Harvard astrophysicists looking at this object and going, this could be alien. That gives you a lot to think about. Can you imagine if that was real? If there was a civilization that actually was attempting to study and then reach out to us, or just keeping an eye on us? That's so creepy. Like I just got chills. I don't know if you guys can even see that. I just got chills thinking about that because the implications are very, very broad. If you're interested in reading more about Oumuamua, I'll list these articles and the links in the description box below. You should definitely go check them out. And let me know if you like talking about kind of interesting science-y related news and things like this, because this is the kind of thing that I really, really get into. And I love this. Tell me what you think about this topic. And do you think it's possible that this was alien? Don't write it off immediately. Take a look at the articles I'm going to link below and let me know what your thoughts are. I hope you're all doing amazingly and having a wonderful day, and I will catch you later.